Welcome to Lesson 3, Flowers of the Forest Workshop. This is the last free lesson, so if you want to access all the lessons as well as the sheet music with the lessons blocked out, colored out, so you know where you're keeping track of where you're at in the music, click on the link below. And this lesson, a lot of repeat from lessons 1 and 2. There's just this little bit of this ending variation in line 1 and line 2, which is a little bit different than what we've done so far. So line 1, you've got it all under your belt except for this this ending bit. So we're going to work on that ending bit, and then line 2, it gets a little bit different. We have an E grip in there, and we have a little bit of a different ending on the D's compared to line 1. So we'll walk through that in line 2. But again, a lot of repetition. Bars 1 and 2 in line 2 are the same as bars 1 and 2 in line 1. So this little ending bit, we ended off lesson 2 on the D. So we're starting from the D. And that's the little ending bit. So if we're not doing embellishments, it's a whole lot simpler. We're on the D, we're going to drop down to B. And we did that transition once in this last lesson, back in lesson 2. From there, we're going to drop down one note down to low A, and that's a quick low A, and then we drop down to low G, a little bit longer on that low G. So we just drop down one finger to low A, one finger to low G. And then that next low A is the start of line 2. So just to hear it in a bit of context, and then I'll walk through those embellishments. So just so you can kind of hear it in a bit of context here. Now let's talk about those embellishments here too. So from the D, we're going to do a doubling on the B. So yeah, this will be a bit new for this tune anyway. So we're going to go G grace note lifts up, top finger of the top hand lifts up, we drop down to that B, top finger comes down, and our second grace note, double, 2 grace notes, is our D on the top of the bottom hand. That's our second grace note. And then these next 2 notes, we have grace notes on these next 2 notes. So this is a little bit busy for embellishments. Don't feel like you have to add them all or nothing, even if you can do a little bit, but it's not all or nothing. So even a little bit will beef up the tune. So even if you just add in the embellishments you're comfortable with to start. So we have this doubling on the B, then we have going down to low A, G grace note, top finger of the top hand lifts, drop down to that low A. And I played a little bit slower there just to exaggerate the grace notes. That next grace note down to low G, we're going to do a D grace note, top finger of the bottom hand lifts, you drop down to that low G with the pinky, and then that D finger comes back down. And this is all repetition. The bar 1 and 2, line 2, same as bar 1 and 2 in line 1. So here's that ending again. It's the same up to that point. This is where it gets a bit different. Instead of doing a doubling on the E, we're going to do, like we did in line 1, we're going to do an E grip. So there's the ending we're going to do in line 2. And again, just to hear line 1, here's what we did in line 1. And here's what we're doing in line 2. So we have a grip, and if you're not doing a grip, you can just go. So that would be the non-embellished version. Just drop down to the E with that middle finger of the top hand. This E is a little bit longer than the E in line 1 because it's dotted. So we have a longer E. And then we go up to F just by lifting that same middle finger again. Transition down to D by dropping these 2 fingers of the top hand, getting into that D position of the bottom hand. Those 3 fingers have to lift, and that pinky has to come down. And we have 2 Ds in a row, so we're going to just separate them with a G grace note strike. If you want to simplify that, you can take out the G grace note and just do the strike. Striking down, you can strike down all the fingers, that's what's written, but you could even just strike that top one if that's a bit easier for you. So up to you on that strike. So again, non-embellished version, one more time, and then we'll add in those embellishments. And then if we're doing embellishments, let's back up again to that F. So we're going to do a grip. So F to E grip, we're on the F. We got to drop everything. We get down to that low G. Then we do our D grace note up and down, top finger of the bottom hand. And then up to E. So when we go up to E, we're just lifting the ring finger and the pinky finger. Ring finger of the top hand, pinky finger of the bottom hand. Sorry about my read there. Yeah, so we want to make sure we hear that low G, we do the D grace note, we hear that low G again, and then we pop up. So if you're rushing it, you won't hear that low G, so we want to hear that low G sound. That's what gives that grip the oomph. So make sure you get that low G sound. Or on the F, sorry, here, on the F to E. So that E's long, it's a dotted 8th note, it's a little bit longer. Then we go up for that cut 8th note or 16th note. So up on the F is shorter, and then we have a D throw. And we did we do a D? Yeah, we did a D throw before from the C. So this time, D throw from the F. So again, kind of like that grip, it starts out very much the same. Drop down to low G, do that D grace note, we're on low G again. This time, we're gonna pop up to C, pop up to D for the D throw. That's the slow motion version, but just so you know what our fingers are doing. And we have 2 long Ds separated by that G grace note, D strike. Make sure that G grace note finishes before you strike. You don't want to do that strike when that G grace note's still up. You won't hear that second movement. So make sure that G grace note finishes, but absolutely right as soon as it finishes, do that strike. And that gives you the whole second line and the whole first line in these 3 lessons. Lessons 4 to 8, or maybe I have 9 lessons. Yeah, I got 9. Oh, I got 10 lessons in there. So 10 lessons, maybe more. Click on the link below. Can't wait to see you in the Flowers of the Forest workshop. And it's a great tune. It's a whole lot of fun. And I'll just play through the first and second line here so you can hear it. Again, check out that link below to join me in the next lesson.